Hey, stop scrolling. Yeah, you've probably heard of Supreme. You definitely know Bape. And maybe, if you're deep in the game, you've heard whispers of something darker. Undercover. The brand that doesn't sell hype, it sells chaos. Not made for influencers. Not built for comfort. And absolutely not trying to be your favorite. It's fashion that fights back. But here's the thing. Most people have no idea how deep this rabbit hole goes. So buckle up. This isn't just a brand. It's a mystery, a rebellion, and a love letter to beautiful nightmares. This is the story of Undercover, and why it's the scariest brand no one talks about. Let's begin. The Bloody Show, Paris Fashion Week. Everyone's dressed in soft colors and polite smiles. Then Undercover walks in, and all hell breaks loose. Models in bandaged faces, garments slashed like they'd been in a knife fight, blood-red lighting, music that sounds like a heartbeat about to burst. One editor fainted. Another said it felt like David Lynch directing a riot. But here's the wild part. Those clothes, they were stitched perfectly. Deconstructed, but genius. A jacket looked like it was melting off the body. But it was made with precision so sharp it could cut glass. That was Undercover's message. Beauty in the breakdown. Let's talk about Jun Takahashi. If Rei Kawakubo is the queen of avant-garde, Jun is the dark prince hiding behind the curtain. He rarely gives interviews. He hates explaining his work. Once, when asked to describe a collection, he just said, "Watch it, or don't." He started Undercover in the early 90s, inspired by punk, horror, philosophy, and chaos theory. But it wasn't just clothes. It was theater. Runway shows felt like rituals. One had upside-down mannequins. Another had models walking in reverse, under flickering lights, while gas masks hung from the ceiling. Critics didn't get it. Hypebeasts didn't care. But the ones who stayed, they felt something unclean. There's a hoodie from the 2005 collection. Looks normal at first. Black cotton. Clean seams. Nice fit. But printed across the lining, only visible when turned inside out, is a quote. "We make noise, not clothes." It's not just a slogan. It's Jun's declaration of war. That quote has shown up in graffiti, tattooed on fans, even hidden inside album art for underground bands. But here's what most people don't know. The font changes every season. And in 2011, one letter in the phrase was wrong, replaced with a symbol from the Voynich manuscript, the most mysterious book on earth. Was it a misprint? A prank? A message? Nobody knows. But that hoodie now sells for over $5,000, if you can even find it. And some say if you wear it inside out in a Tokyo subway at midnight, someone might sit next to you and whisper something you won't forget. In 2016, Undercover released a jacket made from para-aramid fiber, the same material used in military armor. It was light, silent, jet black, but the thing that made it legendary? Only 50 were made, and 12 of them went missing in shipping. The tracking logs showed the boxes leaving Tokyo, but they never arrived. No customs, no scans, no nothing. A few months later, one popped up in a music video for a noise band in Berlin. Then another was spotted on a guy in Shibuya, who vanished into a crowd seconds later. Some fans call it the shadow piece, a ghost jacket. Others think it was a stunt. But Jun Takahashi never acknowledged it. And now, that jacket's worth more than a Rolex. If you can find one, if you dare to wear it. The Classroom of Death. Undercover's fall show. The runway is set like a school classroom. Chairs, desks, chalkboards. But as the show begins, something's off. The lights flicker. The music is a child's voice saying the alphabet backwards. And the clothes, they look like school uniforms but warped. Skirts cut with surgical scissors. Jackets with leather straps. Backpacks stitched shut. Models walk in pairs, holding hands but never blinking. And in the finale, One desk bursts into smoke, revealing a black rose growing from a pile of ash. Audience reaction, dead silence, then applause, then confusion. One writer called it fashion's version of a horror film. Another said it was the most brilliant middle finger to conformity ever put on a runway. A collector in Seoul posted a photo in 2022. A hoodie, blood red, with hand-painted script across the back that read, "God is a system error." It had undercover tags, perfect stitching, but no record of the piece anywhere, not in runway shows, lookbooks, or archives. The collector said he bought it from a man at a Tokyo record store. Cash only. No receipt. When asked about it, Takahashi said nothing. But the official Undercover Instagram posted a single image, a red screen, with an error code. Then it vanished. Some think the hoodie was part of a canceled collab with 9-inch nails. Others think it was never supposed to be seen. One thing's for sure, it's real. It's been authenticated and no one knows how many exist, or if it's even meant to be worn. In 2017, fashion blogs started talking about a pop-up cafe in Kyoto called UC Silence. People said it was part gallery, part installation, part anti-brand store. No signs, no menus, just a long hallway with white light and racks of all-white undercover pieces from a line that was never released. Visitors said they weren't allowed to take photos. One said she was told, "Silence is the only receipt." 3 weeks later, the building was empty. No record of the lease. No signage left. The only proof? One blurry photo of a takeout cup with a hand-drawn skull. During Japan Fashion Week in 2020, Undercover was expected to show. But instead of a runway, guests arrived at a warehouse. Inside, 88 mannequins, all wearing black hoodies. No lights, no music, no movement. Each hoodie had one word stitched over the heart, a single fragment of a sentence. Together it read, "We are not products. We are memory, and memory never dies." No collection was sold. No press release was sent. And the entire space was dismantled the next day. Some say it was a protest against fast fashion. Others say it was a goodbye to someone lost. Takahashi never confirmed either. In a Tokyo thrift shop, deep in Shimokitazawa, a man found a jacket. It had no tag, no branding, but the lining? A perfect undercover skull, stitched in reverse. When he brought it to a reseller, they laughed, said it was fake, until a former undercover intern saw it online and messaged him privately. That was a prototype. Only 3 were ever made, and 1 went missing. To this day, no one knows how it ended up in that store, or if Jun himself left it there. Some believe it was planted, a seed. Others think the piece was cursed because everyone who's bought it sold it within a month. The girl in the mask. There's a legend in Harajuku. At night, when the neon fades and the streets are quiet, sometimes a girl appears, wearing a 2008 undercover coat, the one with the porcelain mask stitched into the hood. She doesn't speak. She doesn't sell. She just watches. Some say it's an actress. Some say it's a ghost. Others think it's performance art planted by the brand itself. But one guy on Reddit swears, "I saw her. She reached out and handed me a sticker." He showed a photo, black skull, and one word, "Wake." The forgotten collab. Undercover has done wild collabs with Valentino, Nike, even Evangelion. But the rarest? A capsule with a Tokyo punk band called Virus 77. Only 5 full outfits were made, each inspired by a different conspiracy theory. One hoodie had a map of underground tunnels beneath Shibuya. Another had glow-in-the-dark ink that spelled out, "We are listening." But before the launch, the lead singer vanished, literally disappeared. Show cancelled. Drop pulled. No press. Only 2 outfits have ever surfaced, and both were bought anonymously. Takahashi never commented, but some say he still owns the other three. And when asked about the collab in 2023, he smiled and said, "Some stories are better without endings." The birth of Undercover, chaos, punk, and a man named June. Before the skull, before the screams, before Paris, there was just June. June Takahashi, a skinny kid from the Gunma prefecture of Japan. Shy, quiet, always sketching, always observing. He didn't grow up rich, didn't care for sports. He cared about David Bowie. He cared about strange movies. And he cared about how clothing could make you feel like someone else or maybe like your real self for the first time. In the late 80s, June moved to Tokyo to attend Bunka Fashion College, the same place where legends like Yoji and Kenzo had studied. But he didn't fit in. His classmates were polished. June was a punk. While others sewed elegant gowns, he ripped fabric apart and stitched it back into something angry and beautiful. He started a small punk band. He wore torn sweaters and combat boots. And one night, in a Shinjuku dive bar, he met a man named Nigo. Yes, that Nigo. They became friends instantly. Two outsiders. Two obsessives. One was into hip-hop and rare toys. The other, horror films and British punk. Together, they decided to start a brand. Not for the runway, not for the stores, just for people like them. People who didn't belong. They called it Undercover, because that's what they were. Hidden, misunderstood, working in shadows. Their first pieces? Handmade t-shirts with slogans no one understood. Jackets that looked like they'd survived a war. Pants held together with safety pins and spite. And people hated them. Stores laughed. Editors ignored them. One boutique told them, "No one wants to look like they just survived a riot." But June didn't stop. He kept sewing, kept experimenting, until one day Rei Kawakubo noticed. Yes, the Rei Kawakubo. She saw his work and said, "This is what comes next." She invited June to show Undercover in Paris. At the time, June had never even been to Europe. But he said yes. And in 2002, the fashion world saw something it had never seen before. Undercover's Paris debut wasn't just a show. It was a storm. Models walked in bandaged faces. Jackets were slashed and scorched. Dresses looked like they were blooming from the inside out, but made of nylon and fear. Critics didn't know what to write. One called it a horror movie in slow motion. Another said, "I don't know if I love it or hate it, but I can't stop thinking about it." And that was the point. Undercover didn't want applause. It wanted a reaction. June had made it, but instead of celebrating, he disappeared. No interviews, no press tour, just silence. Because Undercover was never about June. It was about you, how the clothes made you feel, what they unlocked in you. Over the years, the brand evolved. One season would be dark, violent, cruel. The next, romantic, quiet, full of roses and lace. Because June wasn't selling style. He was telling stories. One collection was inspired by schoolgirls and ghosts. Another by chaos theory. One jacket had quotes from Kafka stitched into the sleeves. Another had a hidden pocket that played music when opened. Sometimes people asked, "What does it mean?" June would always answer the same way. "I don't explain. You're supposed to feel it." That's what made Undercover different. While other brands built empires, Undercover built a cult. A global network of weirdos, romantics, hackers, loners, all connected by one thing. They saw something in the noise. And the skull? That wasn't a logo. It was a mirror. A reminder that underneath everything, the trends, the hype, the poses were all just bones and breath. And maybe, if we're lucky, a little bit of rebellion. But rebellion has a price. As Undercover gained global attention, the pressure mounted. Every season, the audience wanted something more extreme. More dark, more cryptic, more June. And he felt it. He once said in a rare interview, If I ever feel like I'm performing Jun Takahashi, I'll stop. And for a while, it seemed like he might. There were rumors in 2009 that Undercover would go silent. No more shows, no more press. Instead, Takahashi opened a new concept project in Japan called Mad Store. Part store, part installation, part refusal. He brought back toys, printed shirts with nonsense phrases, built displays that made no commercial sense, a jacket in a glass coffin, a pile of shoes under blinking red lights. He didn't care if anyone bought anything. He wanted you to feel confused, disoriented, challenged. And the fans? They loved it, because while fashion chased clarity, Undercover embraced chaos. There was one season where every look featured mismatched shoes, one boot, one slipper, another where every model wore a speaker on their back, blasting distorted lullabies. People called it bizarre, disjointed, unwearable, but that wasn't the point. Jun never wanted to be understood. He wanted to be felt. In 2015, he released a collection called The Greatest, inspired by Muhammad Ali. People thought it was a tribute to strength. But the clothes told a different story. Shirts that looked punched in. Robes that dragged like battle flags. A bomber jacket with the words, float, sting, vanish. It wasn't about Ali's victories. It was about the toll they took. The loneliness behind the spotlight. The bruises under the gold. That's Undercover's genius. It doesn't just show you beauty. It shows you what it costs. But Jun doesn't just design clothes. He designs myths. You hear whispers of rare pieces that don't exist. Jackets that hum. Shirts that never got released but appear in editorials. And always the skull. Sometimes hidden. Sometimes huge. But always there. Like a mark. Like a warning. Like a signature on a dream you're not sure you had. Even now, decades in, Jun stays quiet. He doesn't do hype reels. He doesn't do TikTok tutorials. He doesn't care if you get it. Because Undercover was never built for everyone. It was built for someone. Maybe that's you. Maybe it isn't. But if you've ever felt invisible, or angry, or like your insides don't match what the world sees, you might already be part of the code. You just didn't know it yet. Undercover isn't a brand. It's a frequency. It doesn't want to be followed. It wants to be found. The Dead Channel. Somewhere around 2021, a YouTube account popped up under the name UC_001. No profile pic. No description. Just a series of videos, black screen, ambient noise, flashing code. One clip, exactly 3 minutes and 33 seconds long, showed nothing but TV static and the sound of slow breathing. But fashion fans noticed something strange. Every video title was a scrambled phrase, anagrams of Undercover quotes. And when one user ran the audio through a spectrogram, they found a skull. Literally, the audio waveform formed a pixelated skull image. The story went viral on niche streetwear forums. Some said it was an ARG. Others thought it was a leak. A few even claimed it predicted upcoming designs. But just as the hype peaked, the channel vanished. Wiped. Deleted. No trace. Until months later, one of the channel's clips was discovered playing silently on a screen inside Undercover's Aoyama store. No one said a word, but a sticker was placed beside the screen. It read, "Noise never dies. It just changes frequency." Undercover was never about fashion. Not really. It was about hiding in plain sight, about making you uncomfortable, about showing you the monster under the hoodie. While other brands screamed, Undercover whispered. And the ones who listened heard something deeper, because these weren't just jackets. They were stories, wounds, dreams in fabric form. You don't wear Undercover. You carry it, like a glitch in the matrix, like a scar you never told anyone about. And if you get it, really get it, then maybe you're one of them. The ones who walk quiet, who love the dark, who know that some of the loudest messages are the ones never spoken. So the next time you see someone wearing something you don't understand, a hoodie with a phrase that sounds like a warning, a jacket stitched like a crime scene, don't ask them what it means. They won't explain. They'll just nod. Because undercover people, they speak in silence. If you made it this far, you're not just watching, you're decoding. So hit that like button. Drop a comment. The noise is alive. And tell me your favorite undercover piece, real or imagined. And if no one understands your taste in clothes, good. That means you're doing it right. This is the Fashion Code, where we don't just talk brands. We uncover legends. And legends never die.